Especially if you know people that are flipping there, whatever, like it's good to use that stuff.
Damn neighbors.
I've seen this guy, Nick Reese, one of the most powerful YouTube videos from him a few years ago, where it was gonna take him $20,000 to repair this house. And he's sitting there next to the lady, right? And this is what Nick does. He just sits there and he's like, yada, yada, yada. He's such a smooth talker. I'm not a smooth talker. That guy is insane. You'll see why. So he's sitting there. Okay, Rosie, so, yeah, I know, blah, 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 blah. So, I know we gotta get the roof, and we gotta get the painting, and we gotta get the basement, and blah, blah. So what do you think it's gonna cost me to repair the property? Don't worry, I'm not gonna hold you to it. I know you're not a contractor. What do you think it's gonna cost? What do you have in mind? Again, his number, Nick Reese's repairs were $20,000. She's like, oh God, it's gonna be at least $60,000 to $80,000. Bring, right, cha-ching. I mean, you can, all the noises you can make.
Got the check, cousin.
Cut the check, cousin. That's a saying we have in the office, cut the check, cousin. So, anyway, but you see, that's how you use data versus the seller. On the repairs, right? On street names, specific properties that are in the area, etc. I know we went through this earlier, but whoever digs deeper gets the deal. That's so important, guys. Raise your hand if you're not going to be afraid to dig deep when it comes to talking to sellers.
All day.
All day. All in.
Okay? That's going to change your entire business on the acquisition side. My man's not going to do $5,000 deals now. Now he, boom, 15, 20,000 all day. Focus on value versus offer. That's big, guys. That's big. Like, the value has to be literally under the offer. Like, hey, look, depending on whatever the circumstance is, I'm coming in here, I'm taking the property as this condition. I know you don't want to deal with this headache. This can take, 3 to 6 months minimum to sell. Then you got to deal with inspections. You got to deal with realtors.
To touch on that, ask the hard questions when you find yourself there and be like, hey, look, at the end of the day, you know the house is worth 300. You want 280 and it needs work. That's not the way it works. Do you have $30,000 to pour into the house? Do you have the time to spare? Do you have 6 months before this property sells? Can you afford that? Is this gonna work for you? And they'll tell you straight up if it's not. And if it's not, just tell them, okay, then what's the cost of earning your business? I mean, what can I do to get this deal done? So it really just comes down to the value on the offer, because you can tell them, go ahead and list your property at retail, but you're gonna have to do some of this work, or list it as is, and it's still gonna take some time. There's huge value in what we're doing, which is coming in here, closing quick, and obviously just taking it as it is. So focus on outlining the value for them.
And value in painting the picture goes hand in hand, and I'll tell you why, right? There was a guy in Vegas. We made $80,000. This is one of the few deals last year that Sal and I got to keep entirely. It was like 80. Jaden, how much was that deal? Jaden, how much was that deal in Vegas that I personally locked up?
Wholesale
90. 90? So it was a $90,000 wholesale deal that I personally locked up on my own. I don't even know. Like, sometimes I'll get a number from like an old, old call reel, whatever. Maybe the guy kept an old postcard,
Sal, you need to reroute those numbers, brother.
So, I found common ground with the guy. He's talking about how, like, hey, I'm a programmer, I'm unemployed, I have anxiety, I'm going through a lot. There's bills on the table. My nurse fiance, I feel like I'm letting her down. I don't even feel like a man anymore. This guy is just giving me everything, right? And you know what, guys? No, look, I'll be honest with you. You have to be a genuine person, or else this is not going to work out for you. I know we're sitting here talking about how, we did this and we killed them, and we know. You really gotta love people. Like, you really gotta love people. That's what's gonna make you the best closer you can possibly be, is if you love people, right? So, anyway, this guy's pouring himself, and I start painting the picture. I start painting value, right? I'm like, hey, look, I think the guy's name was Scott, I think. I said, hey, look, Scott, you know what, man? In less than like 10 days, your fiance is gonna come in, and I want you to put paid on every single bill, paid in big letters, and put it on the table. And you guys are gonna restart here in the next, when you dig deep enough and you develop rapport with them, you become almost like a guide or a counselor at this point. You're telling them what's next at this point. Man, you're gonna get to restart all over again. You're gonna have all this money in the bank account. How's that gonna make you feel? You're gonna feel like a man again? You're gonna feel like you're the man of the house again? You see that? Like I'm like fucking digging deep. He's like, man, we gotta get this done now. Like straight up, boom, 90,000. You know?
We actually advanced some money to pay these bills.
Oh yeah, see, that's part of the value. We advance some money
We advanced some money
to pay the bills.
To pay the bills, and that's
$2,000.
I think a little bit more. I think, but I think that's what really did it. He paid. He's like, how much money do you need to pay off these bills? And he
Yeah.
gave him a number, and Carl's doubled that number to him. He's like, now you can take care of this and feel like you're the man. I was there that.
Oh, he was in the office when I had like an hour conversation with this guy.
And then he was telling him like every single thing that's gonna be good after making this decision.
Painting the picture.
And the guy actually, after having was not bullshit or anything. This was like real. After the fact, how happy was the guy?
Oh my God.
You've had another conversation with him afterwards.
Yeah. His life changed. And you guys, try to follow up with your people, like your sellers. Set up something. Send them a card. Let them know you care. Let them know it just wasn't a business transaction. You know why? You create a raving fan. You get it? You create a raving fan. Now, if this person, first of all, is always going to remember you for the rest of their lives. And if he ever even hears of anybody even thinking about selling the property, guess what? I swear to God, we've had so many referrals. Yes or no? Referrals, that you become their go-to guy. Family member needs something done quick, you're the go-to guy.
And you know the beauty about referrals? That sometimes a cost per deal costs you $4 grand or $5 grand of marketing to get a deal. Referrals are free pretty much.
Yeah.
And you don't have to even work as hard for those.
Yeah.
Just by being a good servant and being a good acquisition manager, just listening to their problems. And every single guy over here, if you guys look at them, every single one of them have a different personality. This guy is like a machine, Andy. Then you got Adrian, from the first 2 minutes on the phone, he cracks a joke and then you're laughing. And you got Tino, he knows his numbers by the second of the day. And you got Randy, that you just look at him and you smile. Like he's just, So everybody has their own unique ability. But at the end of the day, the results are the same.
Right.
It's just how you utilize it. How you utilize your skills for that.
How much would you recommend giving someone as a referral? What would you recommend?
Referral? We always give them, what do we always give them?
Up to $1,000.
500 to 1,000 all day. And believe it or not, they love it.
It's great money.
So that's always my challenge, like you as the owner, you call those shots like, dude, let me just send you 2,000 right now or whatever. Do those guys have the freedom to do that?
Yes, they do. These guys,
These are all tools that we have, and I tell these guys, because what we talked about it the first couple of days, they were new. They were putting all their cards out there on the first go. I said, no, you got to slow play them. I go, these are all tools that we have in our tool belt, as acquisitions that, we got a little bit of advance. We can close a little bit faster. We have the ability to keep you in the property a little bit after closing, things like that. These are all tools, but you don't show all your cards at once. You want to try to get it, with the bare minimum, and then if you have to, okay, here's a little bit extra. Okay, here's a little bit extra. Here's a little, start leading them to the water.
you know how many companies don't offer that, guys? Like, hey, you know what? Look, I know that you need to move now. So what would it take? Because I want to get this done. I want to move forward with you. What would you need from us right now to just get everything going? I need about $1,000 to move. You're done.
Be creative.
Right? Yeah.
Done. Yeah, definitely be creative, guys. I can't tell you guys how many deals we've gotten just because they've given us their pain point, and they're not going to tell you all the time, hey, look, I need a cash advance. You hear out their pain point, and it should just click in your head like, hey, it sounds like this person could use some money. Hey, we actually offer cash advances. Would that help you at all? Bam, yes, it would. That would be, tremendously helpful. Okay, great. We can, give you cash.
Show them how you're going to make their life easier.
Ask them. Ask the hard questions. In an ideal situation, how would you want this transaction to go?
I love that. Yeah, we do it all the time.
By the way, the advance does not happen immediately. We do our due diligence.
Clear title.
Yeah,
Clear title.
We make sure there's clear title. Yeah, so just not to get things confused, because we have to make sure that the owners, the value's there of the house, that they don't own more than what we're giving them, things like that. Then we can go ahead and disperse an advance, and of course they sign a paper saying that that advance will be taken away from the sales price or the purchase price.
We've made an extra few $100,000 just because we offer that advance, or it's not that we offer it, but you know, if you dig deep enough and you ask the right questions, you know that that's a necessity, right? It's a seller must have. That's what we call it. A seller must have.
You can actually get people to commit with you as a buyer for a lower price than what somebody else is offering, just because they're offering more solutions and not.
You know
just
why?
money.
Because that's called trust, right? We buy ugly houses. Home advisors, they'll never offer an advance, right? So we offer an advance. What is that letting that seller know? We're here to serve you. We trust you. You trust us. Let's get this going.
That also shows them a sign of commitment on our end. You know, obviously there's earnest money that some people talk about, but you know, we're telling them we're actually giving you guys cash in the next couple of days before we close on the property. So that just knows that reassures them that we're in it just as much as they are.
Quality of life.
I know we had a question earlier.
Let's say the seller needs like a month or two to move out after closing. How much would you hold back in escrow until they move out, then you pay them? You know?
We just started implementing this because for a while there, we actually feel like we're losing money because our properties aren't vacant, and I'm sure some of you guys do this too. Your property's not vacant upon closing, so it's not an ideal situation for a buyer. So with us, we're actually starting to implement it now. If it's like a week or two after closing, we're gonna hold back $5,000. If it's a full month, we're gonna hold back 10. We gotta hold back and make it to where it's still appetizing to a buyer. Like if they're not out, like you have more than enough to be able to, you know, handle that situation. Now, if you're getting into a month, 2 months, things like that, you might want to talk about like a lease back option, something like that. But at like rent rate for the area or a little bit higher.
So you would recommend just a couple weeks?
Yeah, I would say it, with like a $5,000 holdback, 2 weeks max.
Okay. Awesome, thank you.
Well, depending on your market also, because I know
We got a question in the back right there.
So this is in regards to when you're making them an offer. We know that when you're flipping or even when you're wholesaling properties, a huge factor is always the rehab. And I know you guys are saying that you guys don't see the property. So how do you determine that the number you gave them is going to be a good number for you when you haven't seen the property? What if it needs like $80,000-$90,000 of work and then you just shut yourself?
To answer your question, it's just about getting good deals. I mean, we know that if we're coming in, we're picking up a property at 40 to 50 cents on the dollar. It doesn't matter if it needs $10 or $20 a square foot. You know, the numbers are going to work. So, you know, the lower you are, obviously, the more confident you are about just buying it sight unseen.
So is that a rule of thumb? Just getting that?
Exactly. Going back to the price anchor, you want to start off low, and if they don't seem, you know, like offended by it, then you stay low, and you know, obviously negotiate.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yes, sir. In the back with the white shirt. I know you've been waiting, my man.
Hold on. We'll get you a mic.
Can we talk about having tenants in the property? I know we're talking about helping the sellers out, but sometimes most of the times we come across properties that have renters in them, tenants in them. How do you guys approach that and helping out the seller?
So you can be creative with it. I mean, realistically, if your properties aren't vacant upon close, you're costing yourself money. You know, one thing I tell my guys is, hey guys, like going into every deal, try to make sure you structure something to where like, you know, the property is vacant upon like close of escrow, or, you know, even if they can move out ahead of time so we have the house vacant, we can lockbox it. But as far as like dealing with tenants, I know obviously like some situations won't allow you for them just to give them a notice. So, I mean, you can work out like cash for keys situation, help them with like moving expenses. And again, it just comes down to problem solving. You know, they're part of the transaction. So you obviously want to, you know, offer your help to them also.
It's just another.
And oftentimes, I mean, these people don't need a whole lot. You give them $200-$300 for moving expenses. I mean, they're happy because it's not their property. They got to be out anyway. They know this shit, you know? Sir?
With price anchor, how low are you guys starting on average?
Honestly, so I start real low, man. So like I like to be at like 40 to 50 cents on the dollar, like 40 cents on the dollar, like minimum when I'm offering, you know, when I'm making an offer. But I mean, I don't even like to pitch an offer until I've asked 2 times or more what their price is. So I'm always trying to get an asking price on top of everything.
With advancing any money, do you have any issues with people going sideways in the short term before you close or not closing?
Never.
Never. I mean, if they're to the point where, I mean, they're accepting your money, I mean, their intent is definitely to do business. And we, of course, like, you know, we'll get amendments signed that, you know, we're, of course, advancing them cash. So, you know, we have the upper hand on that. It's never been an issue so far.
Let me say this. When you do an advancement, they're on the hook. They feel like they're obligated to close out the transaction. So, I mean, out of 10 times that you'll advance them, you might have one issue, but that's resolved at the end of the day. So it works out very well.
My man, black sweater.
Yeah, when you said 40 cents on the dollar, like when the lead comes to you, are you like pulling up Zillow and 40 cents off this estimate? Like when you say, what do you think?
So I'm just running the active comparables. I don't use the Zillow estimates a whole lot because, you know, they're usually wrong. So yeah, I'm running the comps and then just 40% of what its after repair value is, and then that's like ballpark where I'm starting my offer at. I'm sorry, what's that?
We have MLS access. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Black sweater.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, are you working on guys on the phone with them, like for inbound calls?
I'm sorry, can you speak up? Sorry.
Hey, you can get the mic.
Are you running the comps as you're on the phone with them?
Yeah, man. That's actually something I do. And as you'll progress and, you know, your acquisitions managers, you know, get better, I mean, they can do everything on the flash. So, for example, like, I'm calling people before I even know what the value is, and then as I'm talking with them, I'm, like, actively running the numbers. So that's personally what works for me, but not to say that, you know, you can't run your numbers at a time and be prepared for that phone call. Because I know I was like that when I first started.
That also depends on what type of lead. If it's a cold call lead, that's going to be comp before that call. If it's a PPC lead, a web form, we're going to comp that, get a ballpark before we make that call. If it's a direct mail lead or a PPC call, we're comping it on the phone. So
That's good.
depends on the lead.
Yeah.
That's right.
Speed lead.
My man in the yellow shirt.
Yes, so since the acquisitions and the follow-up manager are different, how's the commission structure there?
We're going to talk about that in company structure. We have a whole...
Okay, got it.
Yeah, they got that covered right there, man.
Sorry, can you repeat that? You said if it's a cold call, you're going to comp before, if it's a direct mail, they're going to comp on the phone.
Yeah, if it's a live call, we're comping on that initial call. If we have the address prior to that conversation, we're comping that property prior to that conversation.